What's up, it's your boy Damian Dupe, your number one off-market land specialist, hyper focused on infill lots. You are now tuned into the We Are Land Specialist YouTube channel, where I'm your host Damian Dupe, and this channel is all about finding vacant land, flipping vacant land, and assigning vacant land. So if there's something you're interested in, you are now in the right place. If this is your first time here, I want to welcome you. Thank you so much for checking me out. Please consider subscribing, liking, commenting, and sharing, and I would greatly appreciate it. All right. So today, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be talking to you about how to find a land deal with no money. Okay. Very, very important. I see a lot of people asking which list to pull, what to buy box, what this, what's that. But what's most important is making something out of nothing. And the most important part about that is hunting. Hunting is using a tax delinquent list to find people that needs to sell. Okay, there's a difference from properties that's for sale and property that's on sale. So in order to find a property that's on sale, you have to find some type of pain, some type of ouch. Okay, that's what we would call a motivated seller, because they have some type of motivation to sell this property so it will not get foreclosed on. The quickest and easiest way to know I know how to do this, ladies and gentlemen, it's a free tool. It's called Kania Law Firm. Check this out. This only works in the Carolinas. These are tools that's everywhere, but this tool just so happened to be hyper focused on the Carolinas, which is a market where I'm at. As you can see, it breaks it down by the counties. And what I like about it is you can see properties that are about to get foreclosed on. So I'll give you a couple tips and tricks as I go through this, what to look for, what not to look for. To my right is a paid tool called Land ID. This basically allows me to look up any property nationwide, allow me to do some due diligence on it in regards to whether it's in a flood area, whether the topography. It allows me to see if there's water running through the property. So this is a very handy dandy tool that I use. And basically, as you can see, the tax value on these properties. So when I see something over 100,000, it would make me think it's a house. When I see something, 7,000, 16,000, it would make me think it's a lot. Okay, so let's just look at this lot for 16.9, and I would show you exactly what I would do step by step. The first thing I would do is try to put eyes on a lot to make sure it's on what we would call a publicly maintained road. Very, very important. As you can see, this lot came straight up. I believe it's an out-of-state owner. I don't know why I cannot see this. 1 second. All right, let me just go ahead and refresh this. I'm not sure why I'm not able to see this lot. Give me 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. I'm having a little technical difficulties here, but rest assured, I'm going to show you how to get straight to the bag, straight to the seller, and be able to make them an offer in seconds. All right, so let's try this again. And I really think it's this tool right here. Again, this is nationwide, ladies and gentlemen. It's about 20 bucks if you want to know how much it costs, but it's totally worth the 20 bucks. So basically you just put the county in there and you go ahead and put the APN number or the partial ID, and let's see what we got. All right, so I think it's this tool that's kind of lagging. But as you can see, this is a vacant lot. It's a 1/4 acre. It has no flood zone, no water running through it because I have all my layers on contour lines. I don't need that, but I do need FEMA floodplain. That's very, very important. Water features and wetlands, so there's none of that on there. As you can see, this is just a vacant lot. If I can, I would try to get down on the street and see if I can actually see the lot if possible. If not, no worries. All right. When I can't get down on the street, it's no worries. So I'll just run a comp to just see, what the sales are in that area, and then I'll show you how I would track the seller. And ladies and gentlemen, if you ask me, this is what we call low-hanging fruit. Okay, low-hanging fruit. There's not a lot of competition because there's not a lot of people who's going to put in the work and do what it takes to get these deals. Okay. All right. So I didn't get a hit on that address. Let me try across the street. I don't know why I was pulling this in Woodleaf and Rockwell. All right, let me try Emmanuel Church Road. Basically, ladies and gentlemen, I'm trying to get a comp would have justified why I should go after this property. All right, sometimes Zillow be doing the most. I'm gonna go to my favorite, Old Faithful, which is the MLS. I'm sorry if you guys do not have this tool, but this is a tool I use a lot in my business, in my market. If you want to know how to get MLS access, you have to basically tap in with a real estate agent or a broker that will add you as an assistant. Okay, very, very important. Add you as an assistant, just like that. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, so my lot is somewhere over here. It's a very small lot. I just want to see if there's water and sewer out here. Very, very important. I doubt it. Septic and well. So a lot this small, ladies and gentlemen, I doubt if you will be able to get water and sewer here. So for me, this will be a hard pass because you need minimum at least an acre. Okay, down here in the Carolinas to put a septic system and too small. So I'm gonna go back to the drawing board. Drawing board. I apologize, and I'm gonna look for some more lots. All right. I see I have another one right here. And the whole goal is to find something that you feel that's worth going after that you can make some money off of. All right. So this is a house. I don't go after houses unless it's in a like super dense area in Charlotte, like high end area. So I'm gonna keep going. Let's try this one. Your goal is to do your due diligence, be ready to make the offer, and be ready to lock the property up so that you can make some money. That's the whole goal, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, that looks like it's on a publicly maintained road. Let me just run some comps here. All right, I see a lot over here for sale. Septic needed, well needed. I'll be honest, ladies and gentlemen, I like to go out the lots with water and sewer. They're very easier to sell than water, no sewer, even though you can make a couple bucks off of these lots, but it's going to be a lot more challenging because it's going to take more time for your potential buyer to do their due diligence. All right. So for me, this will be another hard pass. And you may say, hey, you're passing up on a lot of these lots. And the reason why, because I'm looking for what you call a layup. A layup is something with water and sewer, good comps, and they're motivated. That's what I'm looking for, a layup, ladies and gentlemen. So with that being said, you can change the county that you want to look at. You can look in Davison. You can look in Mecklenburg. I mean, there's a ton of counties here that you can look for, but you want to keep going until you find something that makes sense. All right, let's try this one right here on Matthews Street. I'm going to switch over here from Rowan to Mecklenburg. And this is hunting, ladies and gentlemen. It is very time consuming. Hear me out. But the reward is great. You don't have no money tied up. All you have is a little bit of time. And at the end of the day, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. So your goal is to make a lot of offers. That's your whole goal, is to make a ton of offers on these delinquent tax lots. All right, so as you can see, this lot is too small. It's going to be hard to develop. And from the city, it says the person is unknown. So it's going to be very challenging for you to try to find someone that's unknown, okay? All right, let's keep going. All right, so this is an LLC, no access. As you can see, they got all kind of power lines running through this. So this is not something that I would want to look at. If you see right here, these are what we call Duke Energy easement. These are power lines. You don't want that. And it's not on a publicly maintained road, which is another problem, if you will. So ladies and gentlemen, what I recommend if you're doing this, that you listen to some music, that you kind of just, zone out, kind of focus, and do your thing. All right, so we got a lot here, but as you can see, we got power lines running through here. Then we have water running through here. So this is what we call the building envelope. This is where the property will go. And as you can see, it's no good. As you can see, look at the rest of the properties. The water is on the back side of it. It's not running through the building envelope. So basically, this lot is what we call a junk lot. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, that is the process. I'll probably do a part 2 to this just to show you, how I skip trace these people, how I get them on the phone. But as you can see, I just keep going down the list, ladies and gentlemen. I just keep going down the list. looking for opportunities. And when I find something that pencils out, meaning I can find comps, it has water and sewer, then I call the seller and make them an offer. All right. So thank you so much. Hope you got something from this. Again, that tool is KaniaLawFirm.com. Check it out. Let me know what you think in the comments. All right. Peace.